it's Kate here and welcome to today's tutorial. So I've been asked to do some sketches of seascapes and this is what we're going to be doing today. So I am sorry for the noise. I have all the windows open, it's really hot here. I hope that doesn't bother anyone. So let's start. I have my pastel pencil. You can use a charcoal pencil as well. Remember never to use a graphite pencil as that is not going to allow you to layer the pastel over it. So I'm gonna create some sketches. We're gonna be working tiny. So this is an amazing exercise to actually practice selecting colors and seeing the values. So this is one. Let's see how many we can fit here. 2. I forgot to mention, this is Canson Mouton paper, the simple one, not touch. So I'm gonna leave this at that for now. Oh, I was using a colored pencil, oh no. So, mistook the pencil, this is a colored pencil, but it's okay. Anyway, this is just an outline. So I'm gonna use the charcoal. And this is also not, I have a mix up with my pencils here. This is definitely a pastel pencil. Okay, so these are going to be little tiny outlines of the space where I want to place my composition. And what we're going to be doing here is creating those little, almost thumbnail sketches in color. So if you've seen my previous videos, you must have seen that I always suggest you do thumbnail sketches, which means that you do a tiny drawing that divides the image into value. But in this one, we will be doing sketches in color. I have my reference photos in front of me and I'll be adding more rectangles as we go along. Also, one important thing that I wanted to mention, if you're working pastel and you're new to this, pay attention to the side of the paper. This is the reverse side of the paper. It's smooth. The other side is more textured and it's going to show you the texture of the paper showing through more. And I have clamped it here on the sides and I have this board, I'll show you, that clamps it on top here. But basically, you need to either tape your paper to the board, either clamp it so that it doesn't move. And also, one more thing is that it's best to work upright because all the dust is going to fall down and it's not going to be there and bother you on the paper. So let's start. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch the dunes. So I like this picture the most. It doesn't have the sea in it, but it has more the dunes. And I want to raise a bit the horizon line. And just with the pencil, I'm going to mark where the dunes are going to be. This is the dunes. So these are the greens. And I really like this shadow and light game there. So let's start. First that I'm going to do is I'm going to layer in that sky. The sky is always light. Remember that the sky is a source of light. So don't darken it too much. So what I'm doing is I'm layering in the sky color. Gradually going into a lighter color. So don't make too much of a jump here. It's one of the first rules of soft pastels that you work gradually. Now I'm gonna add this lightest blue at the bottom here and just a hint of that pink. I love pink in sky. Okay, now what we can do, we can slightly blend it. So remember, these are sketches. We're just doing a color sketch. And you see colored pencil shines through. So don't be too precious about it. These are meant to be quick. And they are there for you to actually be able to determine the colors. There we go. And just a bit of that blue in the sky, just a bit more. Okay, what we can do, I see there are some beautiful clouds in that sky. We can just add some of those whiter marks and rub them away just to hint at the clouds, like so. So we're not going into tiny detail, we're just going for the colors. Next, I see that I have basically 2 values in my greens. Lights and darks. Lights are very warm, so I'm gonna choose something yellow. And let's see if this is gonna cut it. So I'm just putting a dot. You see I put a dot. No, this is too cool. I need something warm yellow, but light. Let's see. This can work, and then we can blend it in together with the blues. So I'm squinting my eyes and I'm looking at where that lightest value is. It's here, and also some of this here, like so. Now I can gently blend it so we don't have that texture shining through too much. And I'm thinking that I want this color in my sand as well. So you can see this comes out to be a very limited palette. So mixed in together with the color of the paper, this color gives me a perfect sand color. Not going into details again. Important is that you put this color in the sand, in those areas. So let's cover all of this for now. In the areas that shine through the grass as well. Okay, next we're going on to some of our greens, and I'm gonna use this, let's see, just to add a bit of color in our grasses, this brighter color, and very tiny specks in the back. So just to liven things up a bit. So here, as I said, you are practicing choosing colors. And I see that there's even an orangier color in there to kind of indicate those drier grasses. So I'm gonna place that in there as well. So the mix of these three colors gives me my grass. Now it's time to get the darks in. And for the darks, I see that they are really dark. So I'm gonna go in with my really dark green. So this is a really dark green. This is, I think it's a Rembrandt that I have here. And I'm going to add this dark to my grasses where I see it. So this is a dark green. The further it gets, the less contrasted it's going to be. So here I can gently rub it in, like so. And I see that there's a bit of this darkness on the edge here where there are the trees showing on the horizon line. So this is my green. And now to kind of create a shadow, to have a common color, I'm going to use a dark violet. This is a gray violet. And I'm going to place it over those greens. So I'm looking at those shapes here and also on those trees in the back. So now I have my dark violets, and now I'm going to switch to a lighter, slightly lighter shade of this violet. It's the same color basically, but it's just slightly lighter. Adding those darks in the back. And now we're going to be adding those shadows on our sand. Here, some places there will be this color of the sand showing through. So here they kind of blend together, like so. The trees in the back, breaking up the shape here. So this is that shadow that we see cast from our grasses. Like so. There are some trees also. Let's add some trees here. This violet can work. And also these parts, they're casting shadows also, but not as not as dark. And basically, this is our sketch of the dunes. This is where we go from. So it's very important to determine the colors up front to actually understand what colors you will be using. Because if we were to sketch the same thing and use different colors, so let's try that. If we were to sketch, let's do the same exact sketch, but we're going to be using a slightly different color scheme. So we do the sky again. I'm gonna rough this in quickly. So I just wanted to show you how different it's going to look when you use colors that are slightly different. So let's maybe use a cooler blue for the sky this time, just so that we switch up our color theme, color palette. I'm just looking for light enough. This is too cool maybe. Gonna warm it up just a tad. So mix these two in. Again, blending them in. Okay, so you can see already it feels different. So now I'm gonna add a bit of this pink at the bottom here. So it kind of feels more overcast now, the sky. Okay, adding some of those clouds, and let's use the pink this time. So you can see you can use different colors to create the same thing. Now let's use some of cooler greens. So in this time I'm gonna use oh my god, I broke a pastel. Oh no, where is it? Okay, I'll find it later. So let's use something different this time. I'm going to be using dark yellows. So for the dark yellows, if you darken up yellow, it becomes this kind of muddy green. And I'm going to be using these dark yellows as kind of a transition between my lights and darks. Over here. Then I will go into my, let's take something, let's go dusty. Let's go into something like so. So this is a dusty green. Like so. And now we're gonna go into dark greens. But this time I want them warm. So let's make warm shadows. If we have a more overcast kind of situation, let's make warmer shadows. And for warmer shadows, again, I'm using a dark yellow. It's not dark enough. Let's go into even darker. So this is going to be good. So this one. So this is a very dark yellow. There we go. And into our dark yellow, let's add some very dark, let's add some browns, so warm browns. So something like this, just to create those shadows. Next, I need my sand. For the sand, we can go with this light brown and then mix it in together with some yellow. Still, we're kind of warming it up. It's going to be warmer than this version here. Just mixing those colors, blending them in together, like so. And I'm going to go with this greenish color over the top, which looks nice. And adding those brighter patches where it kind of shines through. So on the back, I'm gonna add those trees that we see in the back there. I'm going to add it with this more of a violet color, so it brings them it pushes them kind of to the back because it has blue in it. Like so. And we're going to create the shadows. Let's see, just a bit darken them up here so they can, and also let's add it into the shadow, this color, just a bit. It's going to be still warm, but it's going to have that violet in it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create those shadows. So again, let's mix violet with brown because we still need that sky reflecting. So let's add this color onto our sand, like so. And then I will add some of that warm brown, just a tad, just a bit here into the shadows. So we kind of mix it in together, and just gonna bring in those areas of light back into the shadow just to break it up a bit. So you can see that these are two completely different color schemes. So you can work warm or cool and you still portray this image, but you can work with different colors and create a different mood. But anyway, enough of this. Now let's move on to our sea. So I want to do some of those sea sketches, and let's start with something very simple. So here I have, let's take this away. So here, let's do another one. And here it's very simple, this one. So what we do is we're going to draw the sea and the sky. And the sky is going to be reflecting in the sea. So I like sunsets. And there is also this mountain. So let's sketch it in. Here we're going to have the sea, the mountains, and there's going to be the sun. So I'm going to start with my violet on top. This is just my subjective color preference. So I'm starting with my violet on top, and I'm immediately going to put it here at the bottom as well. So adding it in. And here I want to work on contrasts between violets and kind of orange, yellow oranges. Next, we're going through pinks. According to color wheel, we're going through pinks into our oranges. And here we're going to go into oranges, and first we're going to go into something lighter, and then at the horizon we have that. So here like so. And as there's sun here, it's going to have a lighter area here. The mountains here don't allow the sun to actually shine on the water on this side. So we're going to put that. And then at the bottom, closer to the bottom, it gets orangier. Like so. And even maybe something pinky orange. Let's warm it up. And then, of course, we have the sun. The sun, I won't do it white. I will do it light yellow. Okay, so let's blend this. In first. Here I'm going to add that violet. And maybe something stronger. Kind of indicate that area where the sun doesn't manage to shine. Here I'm adding that bright yellow and then lightly adding it around to create a kind of glow. Like so. And it reflects from the water. like so. And I think I want to add something even redder here, something even pinkier. Like so. Okay, and next what we do is we need to create that mountain range. And as the sun is shining and it's backlit, I'm gonna use some of dark reds to actually create the mountain range. And I'm going to add that violet that is in the darks of our water and then the darks of the sky to kind of create a unified image. Like so. And I'm gonna go a bit darker in my violets to create that outline of the mountains that are receiving less light. Over here, just blend it into the mountain. Okay, and now I want to add a bit of that pinkish light shining on this mountain behind here. To kind of create that illusion of the light shining on the mountains. It's shining maybe here, a bit over here. And there we go, our sunset is almost ready. I just want to darken up a bit the sky also, just a bit. And also I see that there is this, now that I looked at it again, of my image, I see that there is a lighter area on the water here, and I'm gonna add it, actually let's add it with yellows. So I'm gonna add something warm yellow, just a bit, a tiny area of reflected light. Like so. And let's darken up the edge of the water at the bottom here. It's also quite dark. Okay, so this one is done. So let's pass on to the next image. And we have some of, so let's see what we can do. We have some other, let's do something different from a sunset now. So here, again, drawing it small. And here we will be drawing the sea that is kind of reflecting a lot of sunlight, and it's really pretty. So for this, I think I'm going to be using a very limited color scheme, and I will be using grays that have color to them. So let's start with our sky, and I'm gonna put it here. So this is a light gray. This is actually a more neutral gray than, as I said, we're going to be using color, but this is a neutral gray. And just to give it some tone, bluer tone, just adding a bit of this blue, because it's, let's make it a bit cloudy, the sensation of the sky. And I think I need to lighten it up just a bit. Okay, so this is our sky. Immediately I'm setting the mood with the sky, like so. And here I created that outline of the mountains or whatever it is, trees in the back here. They are darker, and you can see the slight difference in value immediately suggests that there's something here. So I'm going to be using the same color on this reflection. Of the sky in the wet sand. Next, I'm going into warmer colors, and this is, let's check this one. This is quite light. So I'm going to add this color. This is the drier sand that you see on the left, like so. And also you see it here in the back. I'm just looking for those bigger shapes, like so. Next, we're going into, believe it or not, violets. So I'm gonna use this blue violet and just picking the right color. So let's see if this is, yeah, this is not blue enough. I had a wonderful blue violet and I don't see it now in my palette. Where did it go? Okay, let's mix violets and blues then. This is still, sorry it's taking me so long to choose the color, but let's see this one. Yeah, this is bluer already. This is nicer. So we're adding this blue color here with blue violet. And the further away we go, the more we see it kind of gray out and become more blue. Actually, let's take it just a bit darker. And let's add this blue here. So now what I'm doing is I'm blending it out. Like so. I see that there's something warmer reflecting also over here. This is a violet, it's not brown, but it looks brown compared to our blue violets, like so. And maybe even just a bit lighter. This is also a violet. So here, remember I said we're picking our color scheme, like so. And next we need to create that sea. So for the sea, I think I'm going to be using the same color, violet here, and something even lighter on the back here. Like so. And then we're gonna go into our lightest value, and I think I'm gonna be using a light gray. So this is a light gray, it's not white. And I'm going to be blocking in those masses of light. So here I'm gonna rub them out quite a lot because I want the contrast to be up front here. So adding a bit of this gray here as well into that reflected light, like so. And I see that there's this, basically I'm drawing this shape here of those waves kind of hitting the shore. Here it's a more narrow squiggle. There's some lines going back here. So these ones I blend them away, but the ones that are closer to us, I want them to be brighter. Okay, like so. So this is gonna add that sparkle to our foam that is kind of washing on the shore. And let's add this brighter color into our violet, just kind of show that reflection of the sun in the sand. And let's go back into our violet. I want to correct these shapes. This is great working on such a small format because you don't manage to add too many details. Okay, and now I need a shadow for my waves. I'm gonna use this dark violet that I have and adding that shadow where I see it. So basically the sun is shining from up ahead. Let's add this violet into the water a bit as well. Also some of this shadow here, goes here a bit. And with a lighter color, I'm gonna go and add those shadows further away. So there's a whole wave here. And again, I'm doing it with a lighter color because it's further away from us. And remember, we have a lot of air in between us and the object. So this one is even more. Just gonna add this tree line just a bit. Just create a bigger difference. Okay, and there's also this tree line further down here. Like so. Maybe add a shadow or two in the sea here. Okay, and I want to slightly add a bit of blues in here, and I'm gonna go for those dustier blues and darken up this area, these waves over here just a bit. It's actually too blue and too green. Let's go back to our violets. I think I really like how it looks in the violet color scheme. So we darken them up and back to the gray. Where did I put it? There it is. Just adding a bit of that sparkle on the sand where there's a bit of foam left. Oh. And intensifying this edge. And that's it. We have a color scheme for our seascape. Very easy. Okay, so let's do another one. So this one is more violet kind of seascape. Let's do something, let's see, because I have some photos chosen here. Okay, let's do a wave. So let's choose colors for the wave. Let's do it on a vertical portrait kind of layout. So here I have my horizon line, and this is going to be the wave. And then here we have that thing in front. So what I'm doing first, I'm laying in that sky. And here it's quite overcast, so I can use some grayed out colors. And let's see this one. So this is almost the color of the paper. Okay, and something just a tad lighter. Even some greens in here. Next, let's work on that sea. So the further away from us the sea, the darker it gets, and the closer, the kind of more greener it is. So for the darks, I will immediately lay in, let's test this color. So yeah, this is quite dark blue. I'm going to start with the wave that I see quite dark, and the horizon. So again, this is just a sketch, a thumbnail sketch in color. Don't get too precious about it. Also, doing this kind of exercise, it allows you to kind of feel freer to experiment and to add colors. So you're not thinking, because when I started out, I remember I was like, okay, yeah, Paper costs a lot, materials cost a lot. I need to create a masterpiece. When you're doing these little sketches, you don't kind of take away that thought, and you are more free to experiment and try things. So do try and give it a go. Then in the back here, I see that there's this brighter blue, and it's kind of a green blue. So let's try. So again, as I said, this is experimenting. This color over here, and I think I'm gonna layer this color up front here and go just a bit lighter in the front here. Let's blend this in. And I'm going into some darker blues, but that have kind of a higher blue in it than black, more blue in it than black, and I'm adding this color. This is, again, a cooler version of blue. Just adding it over here where it kind of creates the transition of the wave. And also over here, because there's a bit of light shining through here, and I'm actually going to go slightly lighter there. This blue here, that's going to suggest a light hitting and shining through the wave. Again, going into my darks, bringing in those darks in the wave. Some of those darks are appearing here, some over there. Okay. Also, maybe we can darken up a bit this area here where there's the foam. So remember, this lighter patches that we have in the water, that's the foam kind of being sucked under. So we darken this up just to show more that texture. So here we have quite a dark area. Next, what we do is we go in with our lighter colors, and for that I'm going to go through color. I want to go with whites. So I'm going to use this gray that we used here and start adding those splashes. So there's quite a splash in the background here, like so. And then I see this lighter color, I still want to bring it back. I'm gonna go even lighter, even brighter on the back here. Also, let's add it into our wave here and some of this color over here, just to kind of create a more contrasting image. And I see this lighter color have some foam on it, and then we pass onto the foam here. And I'm moving like in the movements, kind of sharp movements, to indicate that this foam is splashing upwards. Like so. Okay, there's some of that foam creating here. Let's add some of that foam and let's blend these two together. And with a darker blue, but not as dark, I'm gonna add just a bit of that shadow to my foam to actually give it some kind of volume. Okay, and here let's intensify the dark stuff if we lost them. Like so. Just correcting the shape. Again, this is working, this is kind of stopping me from overworking it, from going into too much detail. Okay, so here we have some of that light showing too. So I'm using just the gray pastel, I'm not using anything else. Let's add it into the sky as well. To add this color into the sky on the horizon here. Like so. And now we go to the juiciest part, the foam up front. And here I'm looking at those biggest shapes and working in kind of these staccato movements, not drawing lines, but working in these movements that go sharp and in different directions. Just to give an indication of that foam. And now to increase the contrast. So here I'm pressing quite hard on this wave here. I'm going to use white. It's very easy to use white. And that's gonna give it an even bigger contrast. So especially here up front, you can see I'm using this white. Not everywhere, in some places, the brightest areas, like so. And then the wave, of course. Here, some of that foam over here. And you can see how white that looks immediately. There's like a little vein of that foam forming here. Okay, so this is our wave number 1 done. I say that we do another wave, so I'm just gonna look at the images and see if I like something else that we can do. And it's definitely the most fun part of drawing the seascape. Okay, so now we're gonna draw a greener wave. I've been looking through photos here and choosing one that I like, and I think we're gonna draw something green this time. And here again I'm gonna take a portrait position of my wave, and we're gonna include some of that sand in it too. So I want to higher the horizon slightly here, and then here there's going to be the wave, another wave, and the beach. Let's start with the sky. So the sky is quite overcast, so I'm starting with light blue and going into these darker blues. I had my fingers dirty, so this is why you should keep them clean. Just a bit of that lighter blue again over here, closer to the horizon. And let's throw in a couple of clouds with a light blue. Actually, you can use also some greens in there. Just a bit. Let's use gray-green to create the scene that I have here. Let's see if this one's good. Yeah, a gray-green for those shadows in the clouds. Like so. Easy. I'm not gonna draw the distant clouds because I have very few of the sky visible here, so just let's leave it at that. Okay, so the clouds are not the main focus. Next, I'm gonna go into my blues, and I need a dark blue on the background. And here I'm gonna use the same dark blue that I used for the wave, I think. It's just what kind of... And the closer it gets to us, the lighter the sea becomes. And I'm gonna add some of that more pigmented, more blue in here as well. So not black, but blue. Rubbing it away to create a straight horizon. And already here we start going into our greener colors. So I'm adding this greener color in here. This is kind of a cooler blue version. And we go lighter. Like so. Then just before the wave, it's even brighter than that. Like so. And let's switch to our greens. So I'm gonna move that closer because I have them real far away here. Oh. And I'm going to go into my greens to create the wave. So just adding that green into the wave first. This is kind of a mid-tone that I will be using. So here, so I kind of slightly lowered my wave, but it's okay. And just rubbing it in just to create that thing that you call an underpainting where we can work from. Then I'm gonna go into my darker greens, and I'm actually gonna go into the blue greens and add those shadows in the areas. I can also add it just a bit in the background here to kind of tie the two together, and add those shadows in the areas of the waves, like so. And add some of this bluer color. And let's go to our lights. So here, first I will add those lightest parts on my waves. There's going to be the foam reflected on the water, and it's going to have a light greenish color to it. So look for those areas. So here, then an even lighter color. I'm gonna go here with this even lighter color up front here. This kind of reflects the sky more and it's lighter. Also over here. And now let's go to create that foam. I'm gonna use, again, this is light yellow, or we can use something, put this in the wrong place. Okay, so I'm gonna use something light, let's see this one. So this is a gray color, which is gonna work good. And what we're doing, we're creating that pattern of foam over here. Like so. There are some distant waves in the back, just a bit. And here we have that wave shaping up over here. So I'm just looking for that shape of the white. There's another little wave here up front. Like so. And I'm gonna add even this color into the water here because it's reflecting the waves and it's reflecting also the sky. Like so. And there's some of that white, not white, light color here. Okay. And we have some of this light color showing here on the very beach, some thin lines. Then I'm gonna go into my violets and I will use my violets to create this wet area that shines through, because there's the sand kind of shining through the water and it creates a kind of violet cast that we see. I remember the first time that I actually looked at the water and saw violet, I was shocked. So the beach was violet. And here we have the beach reflecting the greens. So we need our greens again and something very light, but at the same time kind of dusty green. So let's see this one. So let's use the same one that we used. Oh, actually, I have it here. Some this greenish color to kind of actually reflect in the beach, and we're going to cool it off just a bit with our other greens. let's add the sand. There we go. And here I see that there's quite a strong reflection. Let's add those reflections here. Like so. Now let's add this brighter yellower color into this wave where it actually shines through. And also some of this yellow. And I'm gonna darken up this wave here. It's another wave shaping here. And adding some of this dark color here as well, just to break up the areas. Like so. And I'm going into my whites. Or you can use something very light. As it's a sketch, let's add some whites. Just to bring out those brightest patterns of foam. So they are the brightest right in front. Like so. A bit of this white on this one. And also here. And here. See how much brighter white looks compared to that gray that we put, and it looked already light. But when we put white next to it, it has a different sensation immediately. And I want to add something light blue in the back here, as I see that there's this the sea shining slightly through. Okay, and our seascapes are all ready. I just hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial, and I will be posting more sketches like this if you are interested. So I'm just gonna create an outline over here just to create kind of a more nicer look. So I hope that you will create your own little thumbnail sketches in color, and it's really helpful when you're working in color. Also, don't forget, you can create first the value sketch and then work in color so that you have the understanding of your subject matter. So this doesn't have to be a finished artwork. This is a sketch. This is something that's going to help you create that artwork and really make it a masterpiece, to actually think composition, to think value, to think what colors to use. It's a very important exercise. So I can guarantee that if you practice this, if you do one sketch, a tiny sketch a day, it takes you not even 10 minutes, sometimes even less, to actually do these sketches. It's amazing the result that you're gonna get. So you will understand color better. But the thing is, you need to do this consciously. So you need to think about what you're doing. So why you're choosing that color. As I said, here we could have used 2 different color schemes and we would still come up with this landscape, but it would have a different key to it. So very important, think before you add colors, and do a sketch a day. And I promise you that you're gonna see amazing results. And this also, one more thing about these little sketches is that you don't go into those tiny details. So this is just squiggles, but if you look at it on its own, you can even frame this thing. And from afar, if you look at it from afar, you will see these as mini paintings. They convey the idea. So if this works, the tiny squiggle works, all of your drawing or painting is going to work as well. Sorry, got too excited about these sketches. It's just that I just want to show you that this is how to actually approach the work before you start large-scale formats. And if you're just beginning, also one more advice that I can give you is start working small. So this is A4 roughly. don't work bigger than A4. Work A5, because the smaller the format, the less you will get stuck on those details, and the more you will pay attention to the most important things: the composition, the tonal value, and the color. So these are three main most important things about art. Composition in itself is art. Composition, tone, color. So practice these. And also I wanted to say that you can post your work online on Instagram. And if you do tag me and also leave the hashtag. I will leave it in the description of this video. And I will love to see your work. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them as well. So thank you for watching, and do let me know what other tutorials you would like to see. And if you would like to see any of these maybe brought into a bigger scale and finished up as a painting of its own. And for now, this is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the future videos. Also, forgot to say, I always say it in the end, I have the Patreon channel where you can find a lot of tutorials and a lot of tips and tricks about pastels too, so do check that out as well. So thanks for watching, and this is it for today. Bye!